I'm creating more stencils. Now I've been working on this one for a while, and so its reaction time has gotten pretty slow because I've done a lot of slicing and welding, and to the best that I've been able to figure out, that can cause Design Space to slow way down. That and there's just a lot of pieces, parts, I guess. So anyway, we're going to finish aligning these. I had duplicated some that I had cut out. It may take a moment because, like I said, it's got a lot of data in this particular file so far. And I'm just moving over the copied or duplicated piece so that we can align it and get it where we want it. So one more over, it looks like that'll be about right. And then we need to go up. Now I happen to know that if you're duplicating one item and it makes that copy, it drops it down 5 clicks and it drops it to the right 5 clicks. So that's why you hear me hitting the keyboard arrows up and down 5 times, because I know that that's just something the system, the way Design Space is set up. I'm going to bring this piece over. Oh, I need to duplicate it. Yeah, that fits. Okay, so I'm going to weld all these together. And once this green line is done, I'll know my welding is complete. And there it goes. I'll move this background over. I'm going to select both. And I'm going to align and select center, which I actually had it pretty good in the first place. So then I'm going to slice. Actually, let me think about this for just a second. Because when I add my border here, it's going to what I might do, because I don't like the half circles if I can avoid those. So I think I'm going to go this way a smidge. Now that's probably not going to work because, yeah, all right. All right, so we're going to select both of those again, and we're going to hit slice. And I'm going to pull all my sliced pieces away. And group them, or not group them, but select them all and hit delete. Now you can hit the delete key or you can go up and hit the trash can. I prefer to use the keyboard when at all possible. So now I'm going to go ahead and center both of these. So you select them both, and to do that you just draw a box, a rectangle, whatever, so that both parts are encapsulated. It'll grab both parts, and then you're going to select align and center. And I think that'll work pretty good because, yeah, it'll be all right. So then I'm going to weld it. Now I'm going to add my tab to it. So I'll bring my tab up here and just make sure that they're just barely touching. Now you could go down further if you want, but then you start, your circle, if in case you want to string these together somehow, starts to interfere with the border. So you just want to barely get them touching as close as possible without too much overlap. You're going to select them both again. We're going to do a line, and we're going to center horizontally this time. And it moved it over to the right just a smidge, and now we're going to hit weld. And you can see that that did a pretty good job. We still have some half circles or partial circles around the outer edge, but that's okay. So now we've got another stencil. Now, it's always a good idea to go ahead and save, especially with Design Space, but honestly, with any program that you're using. I cannot tell you how much design materials I have lost over the years, whether it be Word documents or digital images, whatever it is, because I didn't save it and then the program crashed. I've got one program in particular that likes to crash. It's not Adobe Illustrator or Photo Impact or it is Photo Impact. Sorry, but it's not. It doesn't handle the complicated stuff. It's not the best. It works for, limited things, but anyway, we're not talking about that today. So I'm going to go ahead and do a save because I'm calling this Stencils Falling Drops, and you can save it as another thing if you want, but that's what I've been saving this file as. So I've selected save, and again you can see our green bar is working its way across the screen up here. That means it's doing its job, and now it tells me it's done. So now I'm going to go to my other set of dots, and these are different sizes of dots that I've got here. I've made them different sizes. And I'm going to hit the Shift key. I've got it selected. The file I'm working, or the image I'm working with, I've got it selected. I'm going to hold down my Shift and click my mouse. Oops. Try to do that in a better, more specific order. Click my mouse while I'm hovering over the rotate key, and that will rotate it in even increments. I don't know if it's 30 degrees or 15 degrees, but it makes it easier to line up. Now, you can free spin it if you want. If you've got a good eye, you can do that. I don't. But the other thing you can do is if you can't get it quite lined up that way and you forgot to do the hold the Shift key down and you've gone too far and you don't want to back up all those spaces because you've done other editing, you can change this to 0. And it puts you right back where it started. So if that is 0, then 90 would be up and down, I believe. So that's an option too. So now we're going to duplicate this file, or this image. Sorry, I got my lingo all out of whack. This might take a minute. Okay, it's working on it. And this does take a while. Like I said, I've got a lot of I've done a lot of slicing and welding and a lot of little dots everywhere, so it slows everything down when you get a lot going on, which you can always stop and save it as a different file, or delete a few things, save it with a new file name. There's ways around it. You just got to be smarter than the machine. All right, so it's done duplicating, and we are now going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It may make me select it again. Sometimes it doesn't keep it, even though it looks selected. Oh, but that time it did it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I haven't figured that out. And now we're going to start going over in increments of 5 until we get it lined up where we want it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's going to be at least that. It's probably going to be a lot more. Oh, that did good. So 5 more. This way I can check it. And so I think, yeah, one too many at least. Okay. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to weld it. And again, you can see that green bar pulsing across the screen up there. That means it's working. I'm going to go back over and I'm going to duplicate another one of my templates. I'll scroll back over and put this behind or in front of, whichever, and I'm going to align and center. And that looks really good. So since they're both still selected, I can hit slice and get this out of the way, get all my little cut pieces out of the way. Now you don't have to delete those. If you want to save them for something else or to work them as something else, you can, but I like to delete them because I like a clean desktop, so to speak. So you can line them all up and weld those two together if you wanted to and get nothing but dots. I would just recreate that for my own sake, just because I like everything equally distributed, and I don't have a lot of luck with the distribution tool that's a part of Design Space. So now I've selected both. I've selected the frame, and I've selected the part that I just sliced, and I'm going to, or the panel, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to align center. Now they're aligned, and I'm going to hit weld, which is down in the bottom right. All right, so now I'm going to add my tab, and again, you want it just to overlap the tiniest bit, somewhere in that range. You know, it can be a little bit more than the tiniest bit, but I've even had some luck leaving the tiniest of spaces and still getting it to weld, and it shouldn't do that, but it did, so more power to me. So anyway, now I've got the tab and the stencil selected. I'm going to do align and center horizontally because I just want to center them on that horizontal plane, and then I'm going to weld. There we go. Now, I don't know how well you can see this, but those dots are different sizes. They're not a huge difference in size, but there is a difference. And it's only 0.025 is the difference. You know, you could do this all day long. You could create, and I have created lots and lots of stencils. You could create thousands of stencils and never use all of them. But you never know what you're going to want. Oops, I did not want to do that. I did not want to resize that. So I hit Control Z because, like I said, I like to work on the keyboard when possible. But you can also do the undo key right here, or I believe, no, can't do an undo there. I've never used it, so I didn't know. So I'm going to slide this over, and again, I'm going to hold the Shift key down while it's selected, and I'm going to click on the arrow, the spin arrow here. So I think it does 45 degrees at a time. Sorry, I was doing some math in my head. 45 degree angle, 45 degrees is each turn. Okay, so we're going to duplicate this. So I like to leave my blank stencil there so I don't have to recreate it over and over again, which I have had to do. Thankfully, it's a pretty straightforward stencil. It doesn't have a lot of difficulty in creating it, which is good for me because I've had to redo that several times. So we've got these dots selected, and these again are 0.025, even smaller than the last set that we did. I'm going to hit duplicate. And it just takes a while because we've got so much going on in this file, or project, as Design Space likes to call it. But there it goes. So we're going to, I like to hit my up arrow by 5, but there's a couple of other ways you could do this. And I suppose I should show you that since I've already told you about the up arrow. You can pick it up and move it over that way. I find it a little more difficult to get it aligned properly, but what you can do then is select both, and you can do align. In this case, it would be top or bottom. Either one will work. And that moved it just a little bit, a scotch. And actually, everything looks like it's in pretty good shape. So I'm going to select both of those images, weld them into one image. Again, Design Space is thinking. There goes our green line across there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my panel for my stencil. I'm going to select both, and I'm going to center, just because I like everything centered. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. That's strictly up to you. But I like it. I like my stuff centered. So then I'm going to hit slice, And I'm going to remove the extra dots. Well,